In a city as buzzing as Dhaka, sharing a home isn't just a trend, it's pretty much a lifestyle. But how do you go from just sharing a space to creating a home you actually love coming back to? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack 10 game-changing tips to make it happen. Let's dive in.
So, let me guess. You're sharing an apartment in Dhaka, or maybe you're about to take that leap. Whether you're a student trying to be close to campus or a young professional hustling in your career, this kind of living situation is fast becoming the new normal. And you know what? For some really good reasons.
It's a really, really smart move, especially when you think about the city's most popular neighborhoods. I mean, trying to live alone in places like Bashundhara, Uttara, or Gulshan, that can drain your bank account fast. Co-living is like cracking the code. It gives you access to the heart of the city without breaking the bank.
But you gotta wonder, what's really behind this massive shift in how people live in Dhaka? Let's actually break down what's making co-living the go-to option for so many.
It pretty much boils down to a perfect storm of factors. First up, the money stuff. Rising living costs make getting a place on your own a luxury a lot of us just can't afford. Then there's the lifestyle, right? With crazy work schedules, having a supportive home base is just invaluable. And of course, there's the human side of things. We all need a sense of community, and who doesn't want to live in a great, convenient spot?
Okay, but here's the thing. You put different people with all their different habits under one roof, and, well, you've got a recipe for some serious friction if you're not careful. That's where having a clear game plan comes in, and that's exactly what we're about to lay out.
All right, so let's start with the absolute foundation. These are the golden rules, the non-negotiables for getting your co-living setup started on the right foot from day one. First things first, let's just redefine what it even means to be a great roommate. It's not just about somebody who pays their rent on time. It's about a shared commitment to 3 core ideas: clear communication, mutual respect, and a sense of shared responsibility for your home. The real key here is to be proactive. So our first 2 tips are all about starting strong. Tip number 1, communicate early. Don't wait for that pile of dirty dishes to turn into a week-long silent war. Talk about cleaning, guests, and quiet hours before they ever become a problem. And that leads right into tip number 2, you have to respect boundaries. It sounds so simple, but it's vital. A closed door isn't just a piece of wood. It's a signal for personal space, which everyone, and I mean everyone, needs to recharge. Okay, so once you have those big rules down, it's time to zoom in on the day-to-day stuff. Because honestly, it's these small, consistent actions that make the difference between a peaceful home and a daily source of stress. This brings us to the biggest conflict zone, the common areas. So tip number 3 is all about mastering these shared spaces. The kitchen, the living room, they belong to everyone, which means keeping them tidy is everyone's job. And tip 4? Oh, this one's a game changer. Clean as you go. Seriously, just wash your dishes right away. And tip 5, take initiative with the trash. Don't wait to be asked. These little things stop resentment from ever building up. And look, you really can't underestimate how powerful these little habits are. In a busy neighborhood like Uttara or Gulshan, everyone gets home exhausted after a long day. The very last thing anyone wants is to start a second job cleaning up somebody else's mess. So these habits, they aren't just about being clean. They're about respecting each other's peace of mind. All right, moving on, let's talk about just being considerate. Tip number 6, respect quiet hours. Your roommate's 5 a.m. alarm for work really doesn't mix well with your midnight phone call. Just be mindful of different schedules. And then there's tip number 7, and this one is huge. Give a heads up about guests. It's just a basic courtesy that stops those awkward surprises and shows you respect that it's their home too. Okay, so we've gone through the daily habits. Now it's time to tackle the big stuff. The 2 things that can absolutely make or break your living situation if you don't get them right: money and chores. Let's just put a number on this for a second. Imagine this is your shared monthly utility bill. But see, it's not just a number on a piece of paper, is it? It represents a shared financial promise that everyone has agreed to. And that brings us straight to tip number 8. Pay on time. Every single time. This isn't really about the money, it's about trust and reliability. Paying on time keeps everything running smoothly and builds that trust. Paying late, well, that destroys trust faster than almost anything else and creates a ton of tension that is completely avoidable. All right, our last 2 tips really tie this all together with teamwork. So,
Tip number 9, share the load fairly. One person just can't be the designated cleaner and the shopper and the bill manager. It has to be a team effort. And finally, maybe the most important one, tip number 10, address problems calmly and do it quickly. Things will come up. The secret is to talk about them politely before frustration gets a chance to boil over. A calm, direct conversation is the most powerful tool you have.
Whew, okay, I know that was a lot to take in. So we've put together a quick little cheat sheet to bring all of these key ideas together for you in one spot.
Think of this table as your roadmap to a peaceful home. You start to see the pattern here, right? Every single good habit has a clear reason why it matters and an amazing result. Clear communication, that leads to better relationships. Cleaning shared spaces, you get less conflict. Paying bills on time builds trust. It's this powerful cause and effect loop that puts you in control of creating an awesome living environment.
So, after all these rules and habits and tips, what's the real win here? What's the actual payoff when you really nail this co-living thing? Yes, of course, co-living saves you money, but that's just the ticket to get in the door. The real prize, the thing you're actually playing for, is so much richer. It's about building a genuine supportive community. It's about going from being just roommates on a piece of paper to becoming friends who actually share a life. And you know what? This doesn't have to be some big, complicated thing. Building that community can be as simple as sharing a meal every once in a while, celebrating someone's birthday, or just watching a movie together on the couch. It's about being there for each other, especially during those really tough, stressful weeks. That's what turns a shared apartment into a real home. So I want to leave you with this one final thought. You don't have to tackle all 10 of these tips at once. Just start with one thing. Ask yourself this: what is one small thing I can do today to be a better roommate and help build a more peaceful home? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.